Turnkey Solutions and another in a series of podcasts. My name is Jamie Austin, and today I have Anthony Castoro of Astor Graphics with me. So welcome, Anthony.
Thanks for having me.
Well, it's my pleasure, but we'll see how well you go and how well you do to see how good we want to thank you later. All right, so Anthony, you are a graphic designer. What are you making? What are you building? What are you creating?
Well, Astor Graphics predominantly is involved in print work, but graphic design could be anything from social media, web graphics, emails, and the print work, of course, is anything printed, such as books, magazines, billboards, signs, anything to do with business collateral, business cards, letterheads, and anything like that.
And all these things. Go ahead. That's what I was trying to get at is, so let's start with the most basic. Is I have a company, I have a name, but I don't have an image. And so I can come to you and say, hey, I'm PSP Turnkey Solutions. We manage solutions for companies. We help them solve their problems. Can you build me an image? And you would do something like that?
Oh yeah, that's called business identity. And that's what the good thing about a professional graphic designer is he or she will have a professional consistency across all your items that you need for your business, and it'll adhere to the logo and color standards that he or she creates in the beginning, and be able to have a professional consistency that way. A lot of times when you go into a franchise business or a national business, you'll notice that everything is consistent in the color, and you'll notice what it is, and it's recognizable. Sometimes in small businesses, they don't have time to do that, and they just throw together stuff here and there, and it doesn't give a credible credence to it.
Like you say, like a franchise has their standards, and so you're recommending that a company should do the same thing.
No, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Any company could do it. It's once you've decided on your colors and your fonts and your logo and everything, and also the way the logo is used. You can have different ways the logo is used in different places. If it's a black and white newspaper, say, or if it's a web graphic, or if it's different ways, you decide that ahead of time. That way, going forward, everything's always the same. And franchises do it because that way, all the different franchise locations all across the country know exactly what to do, and they don't have to think about it.
I think about the American flag has a whole bunch of rules on how you display it. You're saying that's the same thing. You should have that, not those rules, but you should have a set of rules for how your company is displayed, how your logo is shown, what colors it's shown, what font is used. I mean, all of those things. It's what we talk about in process improvement is documenting and standardizing. And so you're saying you should start with documenting and standardizing your logo. It is your image. It's the visual that you send out to people. And so you want to make sure that is clear, clean, concise, and conveys the message that you want.
That's right. Now, if you have a professional graphic designer or a graphic design department, they'll know that. But sometimes companies that don't have such a thing, anybody in the company who happens to be making something might make it differently. So even if you don't have a graphic design company, you should have standards anyway.
All right. So as an example, I like your background. It's your office, you're at home. You've got some interesting things there, which I want to talk about later. You'll notice mine is a blurry background. I have a messy office. My eyes. So if I said to you, hey, Anthony, you're my graphic designer, could you make a background for me for my Zoom so that people don't see my messy office, but rather they get the message of who I am and what I do?
Of course, that's something that I would do. Of course, there's a standard size to that. You have to know the resolution of it and the dimensions of it. And once you know that, it's easy.
Easy for you. I'm always fighting with trying to get this size logo into this size box, or vice versa. I have a small logo into a big box and it never works. So you're saying graphic designer is a valuable part of the company. I mean, it really is again, the visual presentation of the company. So having someone like yourself is important. Use the example of you versus me. I mean, I could do it, but it won't look good. So,
well, I was thinking of the example of, let's say, an electrician. You might be able to change a light bulb, or even change a light fixture. You might know how to do some things. Some people are handy around the house, but if you're going to have something complicated done and you want it done right, you don't want to make any mistakes or something like that. So it's good to hire a professional. But with the advent of desktop publishing software, it seems like everyone thinks that they can do it. Oh, it's easy. I have this program. I could just throw together a flyer or something. But there's a lot more to it than that. There's a lot more to it than just putting it together. You'll notice a difference between a professionally designed flyer as opposed to an amateur flyer, because most people don't know about is topography, and that was a whole section of schooling that you go through. Topography is typography with type, like you were saying earlier, movable type. Well, now the type is done with graphics and software, but you have to put it down in the page in such a way so that it's easy to read. A lot of people like to cram too much stuff in all the same size, all the same font, and together. You have to do it in a way so that you're highlighting the important things larger and bolder, and other things are a bulleted pointed, say, for example. Or you want to be able to you want people to be able to look at a page and read it with ease, be able to read it, and not just look at a page and get overwhelmed and say, oh, this is too much, I can't even look at it. Unfortunately, a lot of clients always have a lot of information that they want to put on there. Like, I need to put this, and this. And like, can we cut it down a little bit? Because you want people to be able to read it and understand it, and not get overwhelmed and not even want to look at it. Like those circulars you get in the mail for the supermarkets. Right. They're so full of stuff, I can't even look at it.
I'm kind of mixing and matching. I want to compare you to, like you said, the electrician or the real estate agent who is an expert at their field, whereas I may be buying a house once every 25 years. They're buying, 25 houses a year for people, or selling houses. They know what works and what doesn't work. You're very much the same thing. And I'm always amazed at how you're able to take something and make it better by, using the right fonts and the right graphics and the right placement. So kudos to you on that. So
you have to take something that has a lot of information and a lot of text and make it look like it's readable, and there's some space there. You need some blank space, some negative space, just to give the eye a little bit of a breather as it's looking up and down a piece of paper. If it's just jam packed with stuff, it's hard to read.
The artwork that you put out, whether it's your letterhead, your logo, your newsletter, e-blast, a flyer, it represents your company, and you want to put your best foot forward when you're doing that. So someone like yourself doing it versus myself doing it, it's a world of difference. So does every business need a graphic designer?
Well, every business does not need a full-time graphic designer. However, every business can benefit from a professional graphic designer, as opposed to just letting somebody in the office do it who may or may not have any experience in that. And that's the beauty of what I do in Astor Graphics. I try and formulate plans for companies depending on their size and depending on how much time they need as a graphic designer. It's not often that a small business needs 40 hours a week from a graphic designer. What are they going to do? Most of the time, they probably don't even need 20 hours a week. You don't want them standing around talking to everyone, wasting time. So what I do is I'll make proposals for different companies saying what is exactly that you need done, what is it that you're doing, and how much time do you think you'll need? I'll estimate how much time they need, and so Astor Graphics could have a professional graphic designer on call for them, for only 20 hours a week, 15 hours a week, whatever they need.
So,
and of course, this also saves them in all the other benefits that go along with it. As a part-time person, I'm not going to be actually part of the company. I'd be an outsourced company, and I wouldn't be a part of their benefit plan or vacation time or health plans or anything like that. So that saves people.
So as an outsourced service, but you're saying is you allocate a certain amount of time or be a project basis, and the beauty of someone like yourself is that they get the level of service that they really need, that they should be using, the professional level of service, but they're not paying for it on a full-time basis. They're paying for it on an as-need basis.
Right. And that saves not only in the health benefits and other things like that I was saying before, but COVID has actually shown us that working from home is possible. So I don't even have to be there at the office. I could be here in my office, and that also saves companies in office space, hardware, software, chairs.
Interesting you say that. So the beauty of technology is that you are able to do all of the things that a graphic designer for a company needs to do without having to be in their space.
Exactly right. Although I do like to have clients within a few hundred miles, so I could at least go there once in a while and meet with them and see their company and get an idea what it is, and that way I could go back and know what I'm doing.
And I just, I'll put in a personal note again, as I mentioned, that as PSP, I use Anthony, and with the Fight for Charity, we use Anthony. And one of the great things about him is I give him the thought, let's say, I explain what we're trying to do, the message we're trying to get across, and then he takes it and he just makes it a much prettier picture. And so I guess that's really the answer is you take my thought, you take the company thought, and I was gonna say put it on paper. I just showed my age. You put it in a picture, and picture's worth 1,000 words. So I told you when we first started, I was gonna put you on the spot. And you have to do this. You have to show me. Anthony is absolutely a fascinating individual. Not only is he a great graphic designer, but he is a collector. And so you can see in the background a couple of things. So swivel your camera around and show us some of these really interesting things that you have.
I just like to remember the way things work, and by having these sort of antiquated things around, it just reminds me of the advancements that society has made, and how things used to be. And it's fun to show kids who don't know anything or have never seen something like this. You remember going to the milk shop and getting one of those milkshakes. Here's my grandmother actually used to use that to wring out clothes. That's an 8mm film projector, and that's that's an old timey radio. That's what the people used to sit around to and listen to the president talking on something like that. But if I swing the camera around here, you can see some other old stuff. That's an RCA 1938 RCA Victor TV. That's their first ever model. It also comes with a record player on top there. It plays 78 records.
Wow.
And that's a 1955 Schwinn. That was actually my uncle. See, this is where I got a lot of stuff. People from all around the family just was like getting rid of stuff, and I took everything in. I was like, anybody getting rid of antiques, I'll take it. So I want to preserve all the family heirlooms and stuff. That's a mutoscope. If you flip, it's got a big giant flip book inside. That's what that constituted as a movie in the 1800s. You put a penny in there and you turn it and it flips it. It makes it look like a little movie.
I asked you to do this because I think this is a great illustration of what you do as a graphic designer, how everything is strategically placed, how it's aesthetically pretty. It's a, and it really is, it's a beautiful scene. I have to say, I was just absolutely amazed in looking at all these great things as compared to the mess I have in my office.
Yeah. If you look at the top, I put a shelf with lighting up there. So, you want to separate the stuff so you don't want it to be look too cluttered. That's why when you go to a museum, the paintings are separated on white walls.
There you go.
So you can look at just that painting and get what it is. If all the paintings are cluttered, you wouldn't be able to appreciate each one.
And so what you have to think about is, if you see the care that Anthony takes to decorating and laying out his office, imagine the care that he's going to take to lay out your artwork and make sure that your company is presented in the best light.
A lot of times the graphic designer actually has to come up with a copy. Like, you'd think there would be a separate person to be writing that, but no, they have to understand what the product is, understand what they're trying to convey, and write it out.
So let's talk about that. So the process to get to you, to give you the information to build something is what? Is I create the message, I write a rough draft of copy, and then I give it to you, and then you take it from there?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people give me nothing. Here's a blank piece of paper. I want this, and I need something to start with. It'd be nice. Some information, the text, and so forth. Maybe the images, and then I could put it together in a way that it looks nice. But if I feel like there's a copy missing, or I want to edit the copy down, or create copy that is needed, then I do that.
As your outsourced graphic designer, or as part of your outsourced marketing department, you take a proactive approach and offer suggestions and ideas to the company.
Right, like he was saying, I'm even though I'm not on site, and even though I'm not an official part of an employee of the company, I'm part of the company because I'm an ongoing asset towards the company. So I know what they need, and I will make suggestions for things that they need that they may not otherwise know. And if they didn't know, they weren't going to ask for it. They weren't
So,
asked for it.
so how many ideas have you gotten scribbled on a napkin and sent to you?
Yeah, yeah. Like what you were saying earlier, how I take an idea of some simple idea that somebody has, and I make something out of it. And that's I've heard that before from other clients, and I appreciate that. They do cocktail napkins.
Well, like basically what you're saying, what's interesting is I'm able to give you my thoughts, and you can put it into you can articulate it in a design that conveys my message.
Yes, that sounds about right.
That's it. That's all you have to say. That's a beauty. Yeah. I take a long-winded, did you see that, people? I take forever to ask this question, and he answers yes.
When you also say, when people give you something scribbled on a piece of paper, a lot of times also what they send me is low resolution graphics that they got from some site somewhere. It's I need your logo. Here's my logo, and if they send me this tiny little thing that's 72 DPI, and they want to make a billboard out of it. So,
Well,
so what I have to do is recreate the actual original logo. This is my work I'm putting out there, and I want it to be quality. I mean, I could put together a flyer and have it printed out with the logo that they sent me, but it'll look blurry, and it'll look pixelated, and that's not a good reflection on me either. So I will go out of my way to take the time, even if I don't add the time, I will do it on my own time to recreate the logo so that when it's printed, it will look exactly perfectly right, because a vector graphic logo could be enlarged to any size, and it is always solid colors, and it looks good.
I want to end with you and I in this picture right here. I think is emblematic of what we're saying. I'm the raw data, the blurry picture. You're the final product, clear, crisp, and concise. The pictures speak about that.
Don't worry, I'm going to take care of that blurry background for you.
Okay, so Anthony, I love what you do. I love what you said. What's the one piece of advice you want to leave people when it comes to graphic design?
You should use a professional graphic designer, whether it's full-time or just on a part-time basis, or even a few hours a week, because you want to be able to put your company's best foot forward and best image forward. And a graphic designer will be able to use the color and logo standards and everything to make it readable and pleasant to look at, and that'll give your company a credibility that will make you money.
Well, there you go. Make you money by putting your best foot forward and having a graphic designer, a professional graphic designer who is able to capture the essence of your message, put it on, like I say, paper, put it into a digital form so that you can put it out to the world, and that the world is impressed with what you do and wants to learn more about your company. All right. Well, thank you, Anthony. I appreciate you taking a few minutes to talk to us today. I love the tour of your office, and I look forward to working with you again in the future.
Yeah, you have to come out and have a personal tour, because the antiques spilled out into the rest of the house too.
I can only imagine what your wife is thinking. All right. Well, my name is Jamie. I
appreciate it.
My name is Jamie Austin. I'm with PSP Turnkey Solutions. We manage solutions, helping companies solve their problems. And again, thank you, Anthony, for visiting with us today and telling us why it's important to have a professional graphic designer to putting your best foot forward. If you have any questions, visit us at pspturnkeysolutions.com or call me at 631-241-3958. In the meantime, have a great day.